Hillary Clinton is now setting about uniting the Democrats in the wake of an often bitter 5-month battle for the party's presidential nomination. She won big in the latest Super Tuesday in the US primaries, taking 4 out of 6 states. Yet Bernie Sanders has not yet thrown in the towel, even though insiders say part of his campaign team's now been laid off. Clinton spoke after her victories, including the one in California, reaching out to her rival, whose supporters, of course, she needs on her side going forward.
Thanks to you, we've reached a milestone. The first time in our nation's history that a woman will be a major party's nominee for President of the United States.
Together, we know what our job is. And that is to bring the American people together to create a government that works for us, not the 1%. Next Tuesday, we continue the fight in the last primary in Washington, D.C.
Must be said, they both talk a good game. Let's get some analysis. Robin Leeds joins us, Director of Winning Strategies. Robin, good evening to you. Welcome aboard here on France 24 in English. Who do you think's got the winning strategy in your view? Clinton, Sanders, Donald Trump?
Well, I think that Secretary Clinton definitely has the winning strategy in this field, and she has demonstrated that throughout her campaign, but most significantly yesterday when she took 4 out of 6 states and presented quite an enthusiastic and precise analysis of the impact that the campaign is going to have not only on women and families, but globally in the world.
Should Bernie Sanders stand aside now? I mean, strategically, if you're thinking for the Democratic Party, that would be the right thing to do, wouldn't it?
Yes, I am of the mind that he should step aside and we should all come together in a unified way as a party because we have such a significant challenge on our hands with Donald Trump. It's a very, very serious situation, and I think it's, at least in my lifetime, the most serious situation that I have seen in terms of a Republican nominee. It's hard to even call him a Republican because he certainly hasn't been behaving like one.
He's not in the party, is he?
Well, he is. He's in the party, but he's not really part of the party. So, but people are falling in line on the Republican side, and I think it's going to be a very fierce campaign. And there's so much at stake in terms of what he is advocating and what he believes and what he is promoting, and it's so diametrically opposed to anything that the Democratic Party or the progressive community or Secretary Clinton or Senator Sanders would ever agree with or feel comfortable with. And in order to defeat him, we're really going to have to bridge that gap, and we're going to have to bridge it early.
Hear what you're saying completely, and what you're saying is being echoed by other members of the Democratic Party and indeed some Republicans that we've spoken to here on France 24. Can I come back to what then Sanders is playing at? What on earth is his strategy now? Because given what you've said, and it seems to be clearly obvious what you're stating, why isn't Bernie Sanders saying, OK, time for me to give in and get behind Hillary Clinton?
Well, look, I mean, the reality is that Senator Sanders has played a very positive and influential role in this season, this campaign season, in terms of pushing the Democratic Party to the left and raising some of the very fundamental questions related to very tough issues like narrowing the wealth divide, dealing with racism in some very pragmatic ways, and also really challenging the system as far as not only how the party functions in terms of its delegate strategy, and superdelegate strategy, but also difficult issues like campaign finance reform. All things that are really, really pivotal in terms of moving our country forward and leveling the playing field. So he's mobilized people around those issues, and he's very passionate about that, and I respect him for that. It's obvious that he's created a movement around those issues that are fundamental, and I can imagine that he is trying to figure out how to leverage his successes and his following to really get those issues front and center in the general election, not to mention in the party platform, which I don't know how much you know about the Democratic Party platform. It's an interesting document that gets a lot of attention in presidential cycles, but is not often fully utilized. So there's a question about how effective the platform hearings will be. Having said that, he has been able to get some really tough people on his team, and I think what he wants to do is advance the agenda as much as possible. And so
he's certainly done a good job so far in doing that. Robin, I need to cut you off there. I'm very sorry to stop you in your flow, but very interesting your analysis, but we need to move on. Thank you very much indeed, Robin Leeds from Winning Strategies there.